Hi, my name is Jim Wagner. I'm the developer of the reality-based personal protection system. And what we're going to cover now are common street attacks. The first one we're going to talk about is what we call sucker punches. That's where somebody comes up to you, you have no idea what they're planning on doing, and then they just strike out at you. Well, how do you defend yourself against that? Well, I have here with me Adrian Markey. Adrian is the director of Ireland for Reality Based, and he's going to help me out. Now, the only way to accurately do this, to show you, is to do it full contact. Because if you don't practice your self-defense full contact, then you're not going to learn the right way. So, Adrian here knows what a sucker punch is. He's just going to take a wild swing at me. He's going to try to hit me. That's why I'm going to put in this mouthpiece, and in case I do get hit, and I'm going to show you what technique to use. Once he tries it, once we do it, then I'll explain to you step by step some of the things you need to know. All right, so he's going to start off very agitated. He's going to start a fight, and then out of the blue, he's going to take a swing at me. Hey, what's going on?
Come on,
hey,
come on, come on.
All right, stop. Good. Now, he didn't strike me. I'll tell you why. First of all, the main thing you have to think about is what we call threat zones. I am not, come over closer, I'm not going to let a hostile person get close to me. Now, when he came towards me, I'll take my gloves off. He's very agitated. I know there's a problem. Anyone I talk with, I always put my hands up. Hey, what's going on? I don't have to look threatening, I just need to talk with my hands. I could do gestures, but I don't want to be alarming him. Hey, what's your problem? What's going on? Now, this protects me. Now, if all of a sudden he takes a swing at me, I have two options. I could step back, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what we call a tactical retreat. I'm also going to do common blocks. I'm going to, as he comes in, I'm going to either do an outside block, or with the other side, the other way. Or if I have the other hand and he comes, an inside block. You who take martial arts, you know these blocks, and that's what you got to do to survive.
The first kind of attack is the circular strike. We must have the hands high. They push us, but we don't know what attack is going to come at us. If we have the hands high and we move forward protecting ourselves, we will make contact with the adversary, and in that way we will be able to respond depending on where the attack comes from. Once there is contact with the adversary, we annul the attack, control it, take him down, and there we can counterattack. The most important thing is the positioning. More important than any technique is our strategy, which is that when someone assaults me, I already have my hands up, and when the attack comes, my defense serves against any possibility. It doesn't matter what comes with that hand, or with the other, if it comes from the inside or the outside. Once there is contact, the important thing is to feel where the force is going, and we use it to unbalance him. We take him down and we have him controlled. Hello, I'm going to show you a defense against the typical street punch, a strike of this kind, a side strike. The punch can be right or left. The defense is always the same. It is a basic technique and very simple. We begin with the first possibility. If the adversary attacks me with the side punch that we've seen, You have various defense possibilities. Now I'll show them to you. Whether the punch comes like this or like this is not important. The first option consists of extending our arm to attack the adversary's eyes with our fingers. The classic finger jab, like this. 1. If he attacks with the other fist, the same. Fingers to his eyes. We can use our left arm or our right. The adversary will react with this movement, and I will be able to escape. We have to anticipate his attack. The second possibility is to use our fist. If he attacks like this, we anticipate and strike him with our fist. We have to always keep our other arm above to defend ourselves. At a more advanced level, we can place our elbow like this at 45 degrees to stop his punch and then counterattack with our other hand. Again, finger jab or punch. The third possibility consists of raising the arms like this. You stop his punch in this way and counterattack with a kick. The adversary will react and you will have the time to escape. Again, 1, 2. If he attacks me on the other side, the same, 1 and 2. Again, on the other side. 1, 2, 3. If he attacks on the other side, I can kick him with either leg. The fourth possibility consists of the knee strike. 1, knee to genitals. On the other side, 1. The important thing is to cover ourselves like this with the hands. The next possibility, facing this kind of attack, is also very simple. You cover yourselves like this with the arms, and you throw a headbutt. Now you can escape. Thank you.
Welcome. Today with me, Sam, Dario. Sam is from England, Dario from Italy, and I'm Avi. We're all from Kapap Academy, and we're going to start to analyze Israeli martial art as a self-defense. They will start with what we call the arrow. You get a sucker punch, and you go either for a punch, if you cannot punch, to open hand, elbow, or chokes. So Sam and Dario will start to demo. What happened, a sucker punch, it comes by surprise. So when it comes, you try to step away. You don't want to block it, because then you get force to force. I try to reduce the amount of the force by stepping, and sometimes even by dropping a little bit down. So on the same time, immediately you try to shoot a hit to him. Now many times, for example, this exercise, which called the arrow, when it comes, if I'm a law enforcement, many times they don't want to hit your face. So what you do, you hit on the chest, you hit on the muscle, like this. And again, it's an option. When he comes with a sucker punch, you do like this, you can give him elbow, elbow. You can do a trap. You can go like for locks. You can go like for rotation of a body and using a gyro element. Again, he comes and you can kick. He comes and you can kick with the other hand. You can go like for a throw, for another throw. It's all depend on your skills, what skills you had before you start. So maybe if it's your first day and you come, you just do this. If it's a really self-defense, you can put your eyes. You can do a mask. You can go for a nail. You can trap over here. So let's do again. And you come and you do a nail. And you take him away and you evacuate the area. It's a self-defense. If you want to take control, and he's like this, and you can lift the elbow and get the control on the hand. If you want to take him down, take him down. If you want to do a mask, do a mask. Push the elbow down, break the elbow. And thank you very much.
The most common strike in the street tends to be the crochet, a punch of this kind. To defend ourselves from this kind of strike, in principle, we don't know where they are going to attack us, whether on the right or on the left. We don't need to have any preconceived notion. Our objective when the attack comes consists of entering and breaking his axis. Breaking his axis, and at the same time that we destroy the hit, provoke unbalance in the aggressor. Next, we throw him to the ground. The technique really is the least important. The important thing is the principle. This is the principle. As a technique, we could use an infinity of variations. We enter, and at the same time, we strike. We break his attack. We break his axis. If, when the strike comes, we stand aside like this, his punch will always reach us. We have to always think that the aggressor is bigger, stronger, and more powerful than we are. For that, we are never going to run from his attack. If we do that, we will have to deal with his strike and enter in his line of attack. We must get into his axis, in a position in which he can't strike us. We can enter on one side or the other. The important thing is to break his axis. Break his axis and enter. We break his axis, we strike, and we throw. We enter and throw.
The next thing we're going to talk about, what about if somebody comes and they do a kick to your groin? You're not even knowing it's coming, and all of a sudden they kick you in the groin. Well, to help me out is going to be Mike Constantinidis. He is the director of reality-based personal training in the country of the Netherlands. Now, I'm going to stand here, and Mike, I want you to get in a somewhat agitated conflict stance, and I want you to try to kick me in the groin. Actually kick me. Go. All right. What I did is what we call a stop knee. Now, he'll do it in slow motion. I didn't know he was going to kick me, but all of a sudden I see movement in his leg. That obviously tells me that a kick is coming my way. Now, I don't know if it's a roundhouse kick, I don't know if it's a front kick or a side kick, but I do know a kick is coming just by his sudden movement. So when it came slowly, all I did was put my knee in front of my groin. Why? Not just to protect my groin, but because that's where my center line is. That's where, now if you look at me directly, if I put my knee in front of my groin, look how much area I'm protecting, right? That's most of my body. Now, when he comes for that kick to the groin, you put your knee up like a spear. Now, let's do it one more time, but now I'm going to show you what you should do once he kicks and what you should do afterwards. Okay, so get ready. Hey, come on, what's your problem, right? And then you follow up. Anytime someone wants to kick you, obviously they're using a force. They're using force that can hurt you. So when he gets in and he's going for the groin, you block, but you do a follow-up. You move in, you do your punches, you do your elbows, you do your knee. That, you have to have a follow-up plan. You can't just block something and see what happens. Once someone assaults you, you better win this fight or he's going to take you down. Now, here's another thing. Now, I taught you the one you could use all the time. Now, he knows how to kick martial arts, so let's see if he, well, try a round kick or a side kick, whatever you want to do. Go. Okay? It still can work. So if he decided to go for my pelvic area, I can still put that knee up. Here's the general rule. Whenever anyone kicks you with their legs, legs always block legs. Arms always block arms. If you keep that in mind, you'll be fine. Now, again, If you practice this, you got to practice it where, again, like I told him, go for me, kick me in the groin. Because if he's not actually trying to get you, you're not going to learn anything. And by the way, always wear a cup.
Now we're going to look at the second most common attack, the kick to the genitals. The important thing is to place the knee in front of us so that any attempt at a kick will first hit our legs and will not strike us in our most sensitive parts. In this way, we will be able to react to take the adversary to the ground, place ourselves behind him, take him down, and counterattack. The push throws me backwards, and I place my leg to block a possible kick. It doesn't matter whether or not he throws a kick at me. I am prepared above and with the legs placed below. In the moment that I block, I get closer in to avoid the next attack. I turn him, strike with the elbow, and I control. Let's look at the next kind of attack, also very habitual in the street, the front kick, from below upward to attack our genitals. As always, everything depends on the situation. Just like with the punch, it depends on whether there is a lot or little space between us. If we are in a bar or in a park, the same occurs with the kick. If there is a lot of room, because we are in a park or in a garage or in the street, when he attacks us with the kick, we have various options. The first possibility, the simplest, is this. When the kick arrives, we move back. His strike finds empty space. Again. And we run to escape. We can also distance ourselves from the kick, counterattack with a punch, and escape. There are various possibilities. He can throw his kick, we move back, and we enter with a punch, strike to the genitals, and escape. This is the first possibility, very simple. He attacks us with a kick, and we move back. Second possibility, when the kick comes, with this arm we grab his leg and push it to one side. It's simple. If we are far apart, our objective will be his tibia. We push his tibia. If we are close, observe. Then we grab his knee. Again. First possibility, move back. And counterattack with punch or escape. The next possibility, move back. Striking and escaping directly. The third possibility, if we are very close, tibia, knee, movement, striking. Or not striking and escaping directly. Another possibility consists of moving toward the inside, not to the outside. We enter and escape. Instead of escaping, we can counterattack to the genitals. He attacks, we move, covering ourselves with our arm like this, and we strike. We strike the inside part of his calf muscle. It's a very sensitive area. We strike here, and we escape. The next alternative is also very simple. When the front kick comes, we raise the knee like this. In this way, we strike his tibia. We can also use the back leg. In this way. There are various possibilities. If you are like this, 1. And if you are like this, 2. Very simple. Thanks.
Now Dario, which is the bad boy now, he kicks Sam. You try to kick just a front kick, but try to get a gap. Even if you get a part of the kick, don't try to stand and get it. Don't try to observe it. Just let it push you. If it comes to your groin, put your knee in. Don't let it hit your groin. Put your knee and move back. And when you move back, try to lift his leg up. So let's try. And try to move him much farther and move him out of balance. Keep one more. Okay. This technique, it's again depend on the speed that Dario is kicking. If Dario is very speed kicking, you sometimes cannot do some of the technique. But let's assume that Dario is a beginner, I'm a beginner, and when he kick, we both slow, because the hand is faster than the leg. Until Dario lifts his leg up, you try to just tap it out. You step back and tap it out. Again, like you do this, you tap him out, and you kick him back. Try to create, again, a gap that he cannot fight you. You do this, and you go, and kick his knee, from the inside. Okay, so when he's land, and when you land, you kick down. Stay for a minute. Or you can kick, stay again, just kick his muscle down, and you will hit the tendon. Okay? This is easy to kick even when you don't know to kick well. So again, you come, try to escape, kick him down. One more try. Yeah, you can use your leg or use your hand. And one time, hands up. Do it again with hands up. Good. Don't be afraid from one kick. It's very difficult under adrenaline to feel a kick or a punch. Unless he was lucky, just make sure he's not getting a lucky punch. Don't let him hit your jaw. The jaw is a glass. You get hit, it's break like a glass. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to look at how we would defend ourselves from a kick, soccer style, such as we would receive in the street. A kick that anyone could throw at us. We must throw with the help of our hip, the inside part of our foot. Our defense will have to always be crossed, because if not, our body could be thrown off balance and we'd fall backwards. His strike will throw us off balance. Therefore, the defense has to be crossed. The stronger, the more energetic his kick, the greater the pain will be that he suffers. This is the principle of the action. The final technique is open to any martial style. The important thing is the principle. The principle. It is fundamental to throw the hip forward. Defending ourselves, we can't keep the knee contracted because we would lose balance. Just as we have said in previous techniques, we must always think that the adversary is much bigger and stronger than we are. That's all. Thank you.
Another common street attack is what we call in the United States a headlock, just a side headlock. Now in all reality, it's not a headlock. Yes, your head is locked, but you should consider it a chokehold. Anytime someone has their arm around your neck, you could get the blood cut off, you could get your air cut off, and that's a very dangerous situation. So I'm going to do it once, just regular speed, and then I'll break it down for you and show you the technique. So he's going to put me in a typical headlock. Go ahead. All right, now, let me show you step by step. Thank you, Mike. All right, first of all, I'll do it slightly sideways here. He puts me in a headlock, okay? Because he has a choke on me, I have to open up my airway. I have to get air. Now, the next thing we do is, once I open up a little airway, I quickly get into a fighting stance. I quickly grab the back of his shirt, or his shoulder, or his hair. I put my other leg in the middle, and I sit down, and I take him with me. Once I have him down, now I take a dominant roll. All right, hop up. It's a very simple technique. Obviously, one that you might see in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Greco-Roman wrestling. You don't need to be fancy, okay? There's no way he can keep me up if my weight is going back. Now, again, anytime someone has your airway, open it up. That's your first concern. Problem with too many martial arts artists is they want to do a strike right away. They want to start fighting. Well, if you have your air supply not coming in or your blood supply, well, what good is that? Because if you pass out 2 seconds later or 5 seconds later, you could be dead. So the main thing is open that airway, then grab a hold of this guy and take him down. I'll show you from sideways, and this will give you, again, one more good view. So he has me by the neck, and it doesn't matter which side. I open my airway, I grab his shirt, I put my leg in between. Now, if you look, I have my elbow. Once he went down, he landed right on his back on my elbow. What's that going to do to him? It's going to knock the wind out of him. And of course, I'm going to pull him so hard that the back of his head slams the pavement. And if the police ask me, why did you kill this guy? You just broke his head. Hey, he was trying to kill me by choking me. That's how you're going to survive that.
The tie is another typical street attack. Not everyone knows how to hit, and what they do is leap on us, move our arms out of the way and grab our neck. We have to stop them from taking us down to the ground, because we'll find ourselves in a very difficult situation. We try to get the arms out once they've been lowered, and we try to place them on his neck to strike from here before he takes us to the ground. The strategy is always the same. The arms have to be protecting from the beginning. We can't be thinking about what technique we're going to do depending on what attack he does. We also have to protect ourselves and from there react. I will raise the arm like this to avoid his being able to take me down. I have the knee in to protect myself from below, and from there I strike him until taking him to the ground. Once on the ground, I control him with the knees. Defense against a side attack of this kind. If he attacks me in this way, watch the various possibilities. This is the first. Strike to genitals. Very simple. Again, first option, strike to genitals. The second, we attack his eyes, ear, and we pull his hair back. The third option, I grab his leg here, or else I push him and escape. Various possibilities. Again, at real speed. 1, 2, and strike here, or push. I go under his arm and escape. Another possibility. Watch. From here, strike him in the genitals and place this arm inside. Again, and we free ourselves from the grip. Now we grab his leg and we push the adversary backwards. Now we escape. We repeat on the other side. Watch, it's very simple. 2, 3. The other possibility, he grabs me, and from here, we place the hand inside to push him. And we escape. Let's look at another alternative. He grabs me. In this way, we turn the head, bite, and now headbutt. A new possibility. From here, we grab his leg and pull back in this way. We pull his leg back with both hands. Here we can strike him and escape. They are very easy techniques. Again. 2, 3. Let's see the other option. Strike, grip, and we push. Thank you.
Sam is British, and Dario is Italian, and this time the British attack Italy. So Sam is attacking and getting a very good hold on Dario. The first thing Dario wants to do, first he'll do the technique and then I explain, but first he tries to establish balance, not let Sam to drop him down. Do it again, slowly. You see, when Sam doing this move, Dario tried to block and to not let Sam roll him over. If you roll him over, it's danger. Now his hand work on Sam's groin. When you work on a groin, you don't try to really locate them, you try to hit in a big motion, you try to trap and peel them out. You can take anything, any tissue like air, skin, whatever you find over there. So Dario will start to work with this hand. You can get a donkey bite. Many times people don't feel it. And they will react slow. The next, Dario might try to look with his hand over Sam's face hand, while this hand also looking for the mask. And then, once you get the mask, you can find the nailing over here, the trachea point, nail him down, or using a mask to drop him down. Of course, on the same time, he can play impact, he can elbow him, he can hammer him. Please do it again. Okay, and lay down for a minute, Sam. The next move is like if Sam managed to roll Dario and he's over here, try to get again the groin, the face. Don't let him roll you by putting your leg over here. Smack him and go over his neck with a pulse. Like this. Many times I don't want to trap now, I just want to evacuate. But sometimes when the hand is over here, you evacuate and you see, you do an arm lock and you break the ribs. All time impact on him, impact on him. Thank you very much. And you see that it's not healthy to be a bad boy.
Now we're going to look at getting out of a typical choke. The first thing we have to do is alleviate the pressure on our neck. As we have already said, we must always think that the adversary is bigger and stronger than we are. For this reason, we can't be adventurous with any kind of technique that involves force, much less so if we are not experts in ground fighting. In the first place, when he grabs me, we try to alleviate the pressure on our neck, since the aggressor is going to provoke a strangulation that will cut the flow of blood to the brain. We alleviate the pressure and we are going to let ourselves fall in a crossed manner in front of his body. At lowering our center of gravity, our body weight will cause the aggressor to be thrown. Let's look at it. We alleviate the pressure, we let ourselves fall in front of him, and he's thrown.
Okay?
Again, I alleviate the pressure, let myself fall in front of him, below, and we throw him. Next, depending on our martial style, we could finish with any kind of technique. If we are not sufficiently capable to resolve the situation, we would have just enough time to get up and take off running. Again, we free up the pressure on our neck. By rotating our body, we help reduce this pressure. As we explained before, this is the principle. The final technique is the least important. I alleviate the pressure and throw my body in front of the adversary. He is thrown. For now, that's all. Thanks.
If you've ever been to Ireland or the United Kingdom and you've ever been in a pub, one of the things you might see is a headbutt. And in some cultures, headbutting is very common. And of course, now when you see UFC on the TV, headbutting sometimes gets in there. And although sometimes illegal, people do throw it in. So how do you prevent yourself from getting knocked out with a headbutt? Well, first of all, again, we're back to threat zones. If I just stand here and he headbutts me, I'm just asking for it. Never let someone get in what we call your red zone. Never let them get that close. If you always use your hands and talk with someone and he's agitated, I have a psychological barrier and a physical barrier. So when he tries something like that, goes for my head, I'm going to see it coming and I'm going to hit him. The fight's on, and now because he assaulted me, I have to protect myself legally. A headbutt obviously is very dangerous because you can get knocked out, and if you get knocked out, you're at his mercy. And again, if I'm just talking with my hands, hey, what's your problem, what's your problem? Just my hands being there is going to push his head back. All right, now, Mike here has been a doorman for many years. He's worked at some of the most prestigious establishments in London, and now I'm going to let him explain a little bit of one of the tactics he developed just because he is a reality-based instructor. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, what it is actually is just a very simple. Since we're using the hands to stop an assailant and to calm him down, now as soon as the headbutt is taking place, it's just very simple. Just pretend that you're trying to stop him, but aim for the forehead. Just directly aim at the forehead, and that should be able to push him back maybe 1.5 meters. So if we can, for example, let's say if Jim is trying to headbutt me and I'm talking to him, calm down, just straight on the forehead. And then you still have, of course, a chance to punch, to kick if he gets more aggressive. So just from here, straight there. You can punch, you can poke the eyes, you can poke the throat. Just a very, very simple maneuver.
So, You've seen how to do it, and again, it's all about situational awareness. If you keep always observing your surroundings, and if you deal with someone coming up to you, and you always treat them like a threat, you're never going to run into problems, or at least you will never be caught unaware. Even if it's grandma or grandpa standing in front of me and I don't know them, believe me, I always think this person is someone that could kill me, whether they pull a knife or a gun or they try a headbutt.
Now we'll look at the headbutt, one of the most dangerous weapons for street fighters. They approach us in such a way that we don't know what it is they want. To speak to us, ask us the time. The important thing is to be careful and lower the head so that we don't receive a strike on any sensitive area of the face. If we are hit, let it be on a hard part of our head. In this way, we will be able to react afterward, even if the strike reaches us. To react with the elbows, with circular strikes, takedowns, or any other kind of attack. Here the question is that when someone approaches us, we take precautions, and that our head is never raised, because in that position, they can throw a headbutt at us and break our nose. It's better to receive the blow on the top part of the head, and from there, react. If we have to let someone approach us so much because we don't really know what they want, we have to protect the head by lowering it. We also have to protect ourselves with a knee because we don't know what awaits us. An attempt at an aggression can come from below, with the knee. We have to be prepared with the head lowered, showing the hard part of the head, and be sure he can't strike me on a soft part where he can do a lot of damage. Once I receive the impact, I have to react striking, and I control with the knees. From here, I'll be able to strike him. You must be careful that he doesn't throw a kick from there. I have to control here with the knee. Let's look at the defense against a headbutt. There's one thing that must be made clear. If we are at a short distance, very close to the adversary, and he throws a head strike, it is difficult, extremely difficult, to see the strike coming. Therefore, here I'll give you some possibilities. But I can't guarantee you that this works 100% of the time against a headbutt. Never 100%. You must be aware of the danger of this kind of attack, the headbutt. If we are at this distance and he throws a headbutt, I can detain it without any problem. But if we are close, speaking, it's difficult. I can, however, cover myself. So, at long distance, I block, one, and I escape. Or else I block, push him to one side, elbow strike, and escape. If we are very close, speaking, I keep my hands here above. If he attacks me, cover yourselves with the elbow. He will hurt himself. Next, knee to genitals, like this, and we escape. Again, on the other side. If we are far and he attacks me, always with the hands up, I stop him. We are speaking. Push, and I escape. Now, if we are close, at a very short distance, we are talking and he attacks me. We quickly raise the elbow at 45 degrees, in this way. We are here, quickly, again. And now strike to genitals. Elbow, and we escape. Another situation, if he grabs my neck to throw a headbutt, I anticipate. We strike with the base of the palm of the hand on the forehead or on the nose, like this. Knee strike to genitals and we escape. Various possibilities. There are many more, but these will help. Thanks.
And the next technique, again, Italian payback to British. And Sen will get a headbutt from Dario. Now, you need to remember that in any fight, don't get close too much to the enemy. All the time make sure that it's not fit for a kick or for a knee. Okay? Now, for Dario to elbow you, it's hard. Also, it's delimited for a punch. But now, if Dario will try from now to headbutt you, all you need is to step back and give him an arrow. Step back and give him an arrow when you're using your elbow. Okay? Slowly. Good. Slowly. So now when you talk to somebody and you don't know him, make sure your hands are over here. From here, easy to defend yourself. Like a bunny. From here, if you want to cut your neck, immediately you hear, like a tie box. So whenever now Dario will surprise, someone step aside, back and aside, that's it. Back and aside, and try to headbutt. Again, can you keep the hand up? All the time hands up. Good. When you don't know him, and you don't know if you're going to get a sucker punch or a headbutt immediately, you need to worry. So the first now, Sam will do an arrow or an elbow, and then trap the head and smack him down. Okay, and do it slowly, Dario. When he comes, I show you, like I want like one, and trap the head. Smack the head down. Just like a tie box, but don't put your knee. Just like, okay? And you can take him aside. Again, start hands up, and play. So now you try like from here, you see? And immediately, also try to put two hands on my shoulder when I come. See, don't let me come close to you. Two hands on the shoulder, and immediately elbow. Block and elbow, good. Try, it's surprising. Or, so you can block. Don't let him come close to you. Block. Whenever you stop the head, the body will stay. Try one more. And that's it.
We are going to look at how to defend ourselves from a very typical street attack, the headbutt. The aggressor will try to break our eyebrow or nose to put us quickly out of combat. If he reaches us, he'll rip open our eyebrow. The pain is intense and will bleed a lot. The cut on the eyebrow will provoke a lot of blood loss very quickly and will limit our sight. We are at the aggressor's mercy. Something similar happens if he breaks our nose. The pain is very intense and will be out of combat. The adversary will then have some seconds when our neural receptive system is annulled. We find ourselves entirely at his mercy. The basic principle is the following. When the hand-to-hand situation arises, when the distance is very short, our objective will be to lower the head. In this way, if he tries to strike us, he's going to hit the hardest part of our cranium. This is the hardest part of our body, and for that, the impact can leave the adversary unconscious. With the impact, his neural receptive system will be annulled, and the individual will be at our mercy. We can do whatever we want to him. His attack can come about in various ways. He can try to grab us like this in order to throw the headbutt, or he can be gesticulating with the hands and attack us suddenly. Always when we are at short distance, we have to be very alert and prepared to lower our head. His headbutt will hit against the hardest part of our cranium. Again. No matter how big and strong the individual is, if he strikes his forehead on this area of our cranium, he'll be dazed at the very least. The individual will be at our mercy. If we try to stop it with the arms, if he is a strong person and more powerful than we are, he'll go past our block. Then he'll be able to reach the chin, or the collarbone, or the sternum, and injure us. You can appreciate the results clearly. This is the principle. The technique is secondary, the least important, given that it will depend on the martial style of each person. That's all. Thanks.
Another type of street attack which you might encounter is where someone comes up behind you, grabs you around the waist or around the chest and locks their arm. In the United States we call that a bear hug. And I'm going to let him demonstrate. I'll do it normal speed, show you what I would do, and then after that we'll break it down and show you step by step the principles. So I'm here, I don't know he's coming up behind me, and suddenly gets me in a bear hug. And now I'm on top of him. All right, come on up. Good. First of all, let's do it slow. He comes up behind me. There's two situations you might find yourself in. In this situation, he trapped my arms. Now, he's a big guy. What do you think most big guys are going to do? They're going to try to pick you up, and now I'm in big trouble because he's going to put my head in the cement. So, the first thing you need to do is trap his hands. Why? Because you don't want these slipping, you don't want to slip, and he's choking you in the neck. I trap his hands so they don't come to my neck. Here's the general rule. Whenever someone's behind you, your job is to get behind them. So, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Drop my center of gravity so he doesn't pick me up. Step behind him. Once I'm behind him, now I could do a number of things. I could let go, I could grab his pants, I could hit him with my arm, but the main thing is, whatever he does, I can grab, I take him down. So, I have all the advantage here. Once I hit the ground, who's hitting first? He hits. Before he has a chance to recover, I'll smash him, hit him. I want to get away. The last thing I want to do is fight somebody on the ground. Now, ground training is nice, but you don't want to be on the ground if you can help it. Another situation might be where your hands were up and he gets you underneath the arms, right? I'm talking, up. Now he made his biggest mistake because in just 2 seconds, I'm going to knock him silly. Now slowly, I come once, twice, 3 times, as fast as I can. Now he might be able to move the first time, but he can't move the other times. Now obviously, you can't practice this hard because you're going to hurt your opponent. But if you do have a training mannequin or a punching bag, you could just 1, 2, 3. Those are the 2 common ways that someone's going to come and get you. Very easy to get out of. Practice it. Take it slow at first, and then speed up when you're ready.
The grip from behind is one of the most dangerous attacks since it takes us by surprise and it is very difficult to react. We have to try to strike the adversary, protect the neck, and place ourselves behind the aggressor in order to be able to take him down. This will be our defense. The surprise grip from behind is one of the most dangerous situations we can find ourselves in. It is very difficult to get out of this attack. The most important thing is to protect our neck, avoiding his cutting off our breathing, and get out, placing the leg back and avoiding his controlling us. And from here, we will try to free ourselves from the grip, striking the aggressor, and take him to the ground. The next defense will be facing an attack from behind. As I've already mentioned, everything depends on the situation. You can be here waiting for the bus and someone attacks me from behind. Or else we can be arguing with a person and a friend of his attacks us from behind. In these cases, when they attack us from behind, observe. Now, depending on whether the aggressor grabs my arms at this height or this other, we will employ different techniques. I'll show you the defense possibilities. Watch. First, strike to genitals, like this. To the genitals. We don't remain straight up like this, but lower the body a little. Strike to genitals. And now you can escape. The other possibility is this. We raise his arms above, and we bite. Again. Above, we can grab his arm, and we bite to free ourselves and escape. Also, we can strike his genitals and escape. Another possibility, he grabs us, and we throw a headbutt backwards. And we escape. Another option is that when he grabs us, I move to one side of the aggressor, and now I raise my arms, observe, and strike to the genitals. There are various alternatives, but these are the best. 1 and 2, or else 1 and 2. You have different possibilities, and the important thing is to know them and train them. I remind you that it always depends on the situation in which you find yourselves. There are many possibilities. He can grab me like this, and I have my legs here or here. If I am here, I can strike him with the heel on the genitals. You see? Now his grip is weaker. At that moment, I can throw a second strike here or a headbutt and escape. Thanks.
The next, you might find yourself in a hug bear. Of course, the hug bear can be over your head. It could be up, it could be more down, it could lift you. Any technique will be a little bit different. The first thing Dario will try is to headbutt, smack with his elbow, one end up, one end down, like this, you see? One end he will try to reach the groin, one to the eyes. He can try to headbutt. Again, let's say that Sam is really holding tight or over the hand. He will try to tap on the fingers and maybe open one finger for a finger lock. Okay, and then he will rotate and again hit or kick. Okay? And the next, he will be over your hand, over the hand. And again, like now, you will try first to do not let him lift you up, to go down a little bit. And now, drive aside, lift your leg, and just drop him over you. One more thing, if Sam will try to lift him, Dario will try to hook one leg and drop down. So hook with your right leg and push down. Okay. And let me show again. So when I'm over here, you hook over here, you see, you fall. And many times I want to fall on Dario, so Dario is actually serving this measure as my mattress. So when I do it slow, I do like palm, 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 and you see when I'm here, see, I don't want to hurt you, but see, you over his body, and then you smack, smack, open, and escape. Those are basic techniques to escape from outside, okay, from a bear hug. So create the gap by, try it one more, hold him, slowly, create the gap, good, create the gap, good. And now, hold this elbow over here, hold the elbow, put this leg like this over here, over here, and now just push him forward. Push him forward like this. Just push him. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And this is also a way, when you're here, just pushing forward. Another way to escape.
We're going to look at a very simple way of freeing ourselves from the bear hug. The situation is the following. The grip can be like this or below the arms. Freeing ourselves from this grip would be much easier, but normally when they grab us, they'll do it immobilizing the arms. The most logical thing is that if they grab us from behind, they do it over the arms, preventing us from being able to react. Here we can use the hands to strike his. However, if the aggressor triples us in weight and strength, it would be useless to strike his hands. In this situation, if they are squeezing hard or asphyxiating us, it's just like a choke. We have just enough time to free ourselves. We can't afford flowery techniques, especially if we aren't expert ground fighters or in hand-to-hand combat. The objective will be the following. First, to try to move our hands with the intention of getting the aggressor's attention. We raise the hands with the objective of distracting him. Next, depending on whether we are left or right-handed, we place a leg between his. We're going to hook his leg with the instep. At the same time, we're going to let ourselves fall backward. For that, we have to lower our center of gravity. If we don't, the technique will be difficult. I lower my center and let myself fall. If the aggressor is very big and lifts me off the ground, I can do the same thing. Lift me up, please. As you see, this also works. Leg, and we let ourselves fall. If, furthermore, we were expert ground fighters, we would resolve the situation easily. As the normal thing is that we are not specialists in that area, we strike and we have just enough time to escape, or try to defend ourselves fighting standing up. That's all. Thank you.